So here's what my art looked like in 2022, and I haven't practiced for the past 3 years. I started my upper division classes in my STEM program that I was taking at university, and I'd literally just given up on drawing. Every so often, I'd get the urge to want to take up drawing seriously again, but I was always too scared that I'd try to practice like I had before and find out that I had regressed. But this year, that's gonna change. Hi cuties, I hope you guys are doing so well, and welcome to my first real ever draw with me video. I've posted a couple art videos in the past, but they were usually just art vlogs where I would do a little bit of doodling with colored pencils or crayons. But today I'm going to be working on this exercise that I've designed for myself to help me get more comfortable with drawing faces again, as character design has always been my favorite thing to do. And since one of my future goals is to illustrate a novel / children's book, it's what I first really want to focus on becoming better at. So this exercise I've made is to just draw the same face in 9 different perspectives every day. It's actually the 8th day that I'm doing it, and I think I've improved quite a bit just in the past week actually. So here's the first character that I tried to draw when I decided to first seriously get back into practicing drawing about a week ago, and it's pretty rough, but one of you guys commented on my last videos where I did the nails that I have on right now in this video, because I have a lot of DIY nail tutorials on my channel as well. If you're new here, it's what I've mainly done in the past. But yeah, one of you commented on that video reassuring me that drawing is a lot like riding a bike, in the same sense that you never really lose the skills even when you're not practicing, because I was talking about wanting to film this video. So I think that that's why I've been able to find my balance again pretty quickly and get back to the level where I left off. I will show you guys my first 7 attempts of this exercise at the end of this video, so you can see my daily progression if you're interested in that. There's also a bunch of other things that I need a lot of practice with to improve on. Of course, not only faces, from poses to drawing clothes, facial expressions, compositions, hands, hair, rendering complete pieces, just basically everything, even past what I had practiced previously 3 years ago. But for now, I'm just going to try to take it one step at a time and focus on getting more comfortable with the face. Once I feel accomplished enough in this goal, I can make another goal. And I think that's how I'm going to be able to stay motivated to keep practicing instead of getting overwhelmed and giving up, because I'm trying to focus on improving everything at once. One thing that kept me from practicing drawing for so long is that every time I would want to get back into it, I would think about how far I could have come if I had kept up with my practice, and I would compare myself to other people around my age and how good I perceived their art to be versus what I thought I'd be capable of if I tried again, and it would discourage me a lot, so that inevitably I would just come to the conclusion that it wasn't even worth it to try because I'd already fallen too far behind. But then I realized that in thinking that, I was just literally doing nothing, taking no action, and just making myself unhappy in doing nothing. So I thought to myself, I can spend another year doing nothing and I will just end up in the exact same unhappy position a year from now as I was in then. Or I could just accept the fact that I was probably going to be worse at drawing than a lot of other people, but also realize that ultimately there's always someone who you perceive is doing better than you. So that's really not a good excuse to not do something that brings you joy. And also come to the conclusion that if I just went into it expecting failure and lowering the expectations I had for myself to start off with, maybe I wouldn't be so scared of disappointing myself when I tried and found that I wasn't as good as I hoped I would be. That way I could look forward to the progress that I was going to make on this journey of practicing again, and starting the journey by failing as many times as I possibly could to get all the failing out of the way, so that I could look forward to the progress that I would see by the end end of the year and like so on. So with that mentality now, I finally feel motivated and excited to draw again, even if I know that maybe I'm not going to be as good as I hoped I would be at this point in my life. Like when I was younger, I would think by this age, I'm going to be doing this much work, or like I'm going to be creating work that looks this good. And I think what held me back a lot of the time was just like realizing that I had not kept up with that and that I was going to disappoint my younger self. I'm no longer thinking like that. I just want to practice as much as I possibly can now so that I can see improvement in the future, even if it doesn't mean that I'm going to be where I thought I would be in the past. So here we are. I'm embracing making ugly art. In fact, I'm actually kind of excited to make ugly art because every ugly drawing I make brings me closer to being at the level I want to be. I should probably clarify though that when I say ugly, I don't mean like ugly in general. I just mean like ugly to me, or more like not matching what I pictured in my head for the drawing to look like, because no one's art is ugly. I really do believe that drawing is completely up to interpretation, and whether you find art beautiful or not really is up to you, especially your own art. And I feel like nobody can tell you that your art is ugly if you find it beautiful. That's really all that matters. So basically what I'm saying is the art that I'm creating right now, I don't find it as beautiful as I want it to be, and so it's like ugly to me. But I also know that the drawings I make that I don't like right now will have their own sort of like charm and beauty one day when I've improved and I can look back at all the progress I've made by seeing the mistakes that I made like today, and that I'll continue to make as I improve. And maybe in a year from now, if I already knew how to draw so well right now, I wouldn't be able to see any real improvement, and then I wouldn't feel as proud of myself in the future for all the improvement I made. Basically, I'm just looking at my art now and like all the mistakes I make like as opportunities to improve a lot and to just like see improvement in the future. And I look forward to seeing that improvement, and I know that there can't be improvement unless there is faults and failures first. So I'm no longer scared of making art that I perceive is bad because it's not up to my expectation of what I want to create. It's gonna be really embarrassing if I make a draw with me video in 2027 and it like looks no different or I don't like what I make. What I'm trying to say through all my ADHD brain dump ramblings is that I've finally accepted that the first drawings I make getting back into practicing will not be ones that I'm super proud of. They won't be up to the same standard of the other art content creators' videos, and it may take me a while to get there, but I'm willing to put in the time because I'm looking forward to seeing how far I've come in a year from now, or 2 or 5. And however much improvement that ends up being, whether a little or a lot, it will for sure be more than if I let my fears of seeing my regression from not practicing hold me back from ever trying again. And I've decided to start posting now instead of when I feel good enough to post art videos, because truly I don't know if I'll ever feel good enough, but that's okay, because I'm not just posting to show how well I can draw, because frankly right now that's not very well, as I just spent the past 10 minutes talking about, but really to try to encourage someone else, maybe you, who may also be feeling intimidated to pick up a hobby you once enjoyed, or join a career field that you're passionate about but feel like too many years have passed, too much wasted time has gone by to try, because that's a lie. And don't let those thoughts keep you from living the life that you want. Something that I like to imagine is like, imagine you meet someone else who is in the exact same situation as you. They've lived the exact same life as you. Imagine that this person is a clone of you, basically, but not really you. They have like the ability to live a different life from here on out. We'll just use drawing as the example for this because that's what this video is about, but really it could apply to anything. Let's say they want to start drawing again, but they're afraid to because they don't want to realize that they've regressed. So exactly the same thoughts that you are having. Then imagine you meet that person again a year from now. While you decided not to try and let your fear hold you back, they decided to try. And they improved so much and are so happy that they at least tried. You'd probably see that and feel kind of bad and maybe a little jealous and think, man, that could have been me. But like, it can be you. So don't stand in your own way and don't let that happen. Become the version of yourself that you would be jealous of. I don't know who needed to hear that, if anyone, but I mainly just tell myself that, so hopefully it helps someone in some way. And I also want to mention that it's okay to try and then realize that it's not what you really wanted. At least you'll have lived knowing you tried instead of feeling like you missed out on something because you were afraid you wouldn't be good enough. It's kind of a principle I like to live my life by in general. But yeah, I'm just a girl in her early 20s. My brain isn't even technically fully developed yet, according to science. So I'm just trying to figure out everything like everyone else. And I'll probably spend my entire life doing that. But I think that's the fun of it all. By the way, I figured that if you're watching this because it's a draw with me, but you preferred to just watch the draw with me without any commentary, you can mute this video and play your own music or whatever in the background, and then you can still see my process, and maybe that will help you with your own process. I personally love watching YouTube while I draw and work on other stuff, and I prefer when people are chatting in the background, so that's why I wanted to do a voiceover instead of just have like the iPad ASMR, because I know that there's a lot of ASMR draw with me videos out there already. That and the fact that I love to talk. If you're not new here, you probably already know that, but yeah, that's like one of the things I am best at. I can hold a conversation on my own. So now that I've talked a lot about how I got here, I wanted to talk a little bit about my plan for improving going forward. First of all, I'm going to try my best to draw every day. Filling out this exercise usually takes me about an hour and a half, but I'm hoping that the more I do it, the faster I will get as I become more comfortable. Drawing every day can seem very intimidating, but the fact that I'm not forcing myself to draw anything finished or rendered, or that I'm necessarily even happy with, helps a lot because I'm not putting so much pressure on myself when I go to draw. If there's a day where I'm busy all day and I really only have time to draw at 11:30 at night, I will just like scribble out a few poses based on Pinterest references and just like fill out this little sheet as quickly as possible. That's why I created this exercise for myself, because I don't have to think of something to draw or put much thought into it if I'm tired or feeling uninspired one day. I just need to do it to make a habit out of drawing again and just getting more comfortable with the pen in my hand. It's not anything beautiful or inspiring, it's just practice, and that's all it needs to be for now. Secondly, I really believe that one of the big things about art is that we inspire each other. There's really nothing new under the sun, and in order to create good art, you have to be consuming good art. So I've been watching a lot of draw with me videos and drawing tutorials on YouTube. I like watching the ones that are in real time if possible, because watching other people do something, especially when you are practicing as you watch, really helps to improve, or at least that's what I found with myself. Fun fact, and I always think about this when I am practicing by watching somebody else and trying to do the same, there are actual neurons in your brain called mirror neurons that fire when you watch someone else doing something as if you were doing that thing yourself without actually doing it. So yeah, I feel like just constantly watching other people do something and also practicing it yourself. Of course, if you just watch and never actually practice, it's not going to get you anywhere. But if you are watching somebody else's process and trying it yourself, I feel like it can really help speed up the improvement. So here are a few of the YouTubers who I have been watching and have been super inspired by lately. I just feel like watching draw with me videos and tutorials is so much more useful when you're trying to improve than just like looking at stills of images on Instagram or just like consuming art on Pinterest, because you can actually see the process that goes behind it. And also everybody's process is a little bit different. And of course, just by watching somebody's process, yours isn't going to become the exact same, because you're going to naturally like tailor it to your own brain, because everybody's brain is different and we each think about things differently. Also watching like a bunch of different artists, not just focusing on one artist's process, helps a lot too. You want to make sure that you are getting like a bunch of different flavors. It also helps to make sure that your art doesn't start looking too much exactly like one creator that you love, because I feel like each person's art ends up being a amalgamation of everything that they love. So watching art processes of content creators that you love instead of just looking at their finished artwork can really help to see the steps that they take and the strokes that they make, and it can help you kind of recognize how to do that in your own work. But also like adding in inspiration from like other things like shows, animations. I love Studio Ghibli. I love watching cartoons, so I find that that kind of inspires my art a lot. But this video isn't about how to find inspiration really for your art. It's just about how I'm planning on improving. But that's also one way that I'm improving, is by like watching other artists' process. I feel like it helps a lot. So thank you to all of the artists that post their process on YouTube for everybody to see and learn from. And I hope that I can start doing the same and that I can like give back to the art community in that way as well. But yeah, I'm also not going to keep myself in a box. So there's a chance that the next drawing video I post, like my art style might look completely different. I originally got into drawing in 5th grade when I read my first manga, and I feel like that's how a lot of other character artists got into art, is from their love of anime or manga when they were younger, and also like my love of Studio Ghibli and animations and cartoons like I was saying. So my art does tend to lean more anime and cartoony, but I do want to make sure that I'm experimenting as much as possible so I can find what feels most natural to me and what makes me happiest. So we'll see what happens. We're on this journey together. Sometimes I feel like if you're posting your art online, there can be like this thing to want to stick into a specific style so that your art is recognizable. But since I'm really focusing on improvement and practice this year, that I'm really going to try not to think about that too much. I don't want my art to just be recognizable because it looks a certain way. I think naturally that happens if you're not thinking about it too much. It just naturally happens because there's just some things about the way that you draw that are unique to you without even realizing it. So I'm just really going to try to let that stylization thing be a natural process and push myself to draw different things. I've also decided to do my practice mostly digitally. As you can see in this video, I'm using Procreate on my iPad. Recently, at least on this YouTube channel, any drawing I've done has really been like on paper with crayons or colored pencils. Just more art as like a therapeutic thing, not as much as a practice that I was really trying to improve at. But since I am really trying to improve my technical skill now, I just feel so much more free to create lines digitally without being scared of messing them up, because you can easily use the undo tool or the eraser tool. I've also been using the selection tool a lot and the resize tool because I have a habit of either drawing things too big or too small, which I'm really trying to work at. But it's so much easier to use those functions and just make it a little bit bigger if I need to, or make it a little bit smaller if I need to, instead of drawing traditionally and having to like erase everything and start over. So I just find that drawing digitally takes away that fear of drawing the wrong lines, and it's just so much easier to practice as quickly as possible. Since I really want to improve quickly, that means I have to draw a lot and not be afraid of making a lot of mistakes. Like, you want to get your failures out of the way, you know? So I want to be able to draw as fast and make those mistakes as fast as possible and fix them as quickly and easily as possible. And definitely drawing digitally makes me feel a lot more free while I'm sketching than if I had to use an eraser and everything, or if I was using a medium like colored pencils or crayons, where it's really hard to go back and fix it without just completely starting over. So that's pretty much how I've been feeling lately and what I've been thinking about getting serious about drawing again. After 3 years of only doing a couple doodles every now and then, pretty much like every few months, it's actually been so much fun, and I really do feel like practicing seriously again was like the missing piece of my life's happiness or something. Not to be so serious and make it sound like so cliche, but drawing has been something that I was so passionate about since I was like young enough to understand what having a passion in life meant, and spending the past few years without it and basically feeling like I was no longer good enough for it, I didn't realize how much I missed it. But now that I'm drawing it every day again and I have like a solid goal of improvement that I'm super serious about, I feel really excited again to get up every day and draw and just like do what I need to do in order to make that happen. So it's been so much fun. Before this video ends, I wanted to say thank you so much to all of you who have watched and listened this far into the video. Especially thank you to those of you who have followed me on YouTube for a while now. And even though you're used to a different kind of content, you watched this video to support my artistic journey. I really truly appreciate it more than you know. Also, I'm hosting a giveaway this week as well. Anyone can join. All you have to do is make sure to like this video, subscribe if you're not already, and fill out the Google form that is linked in the description box underneath this video, and leave a comment on this video. You can literally comment anything you'd like. I just want to hear from you guys. I love chatting with all of you in the comments and getting to know you. Needless to say, if the comment is mean or backhanded, it will not count. Like I mentioned before, the videos that make up my YouTube catalog at the moment are mostly DIY nail videos. At the end of every year, I try to reorganize my supplies, and I have a lot of supplies that is either extra, duplicates, stuff I ordered or got in PR and never ended up using, or stuff I barely used even once just for a video and then haven't used it at all. And I don't want these things to go to waste. I figured that I would open up this giveaway so that I could give you guys mystery bundles made up of my extra supplies if you'd like. So if you love doing your own nails, or you're new here and noticed my nails in this video and want to try doing it for yourself as well, you can check out the Google form in the description, where I will have more information about the particular contents of the nail supply mystery boxes that I'm going to be giving away. And you can also check out the plethora of nail tutorials I have on my channel right now. So yeah, that's it for this first draw with me video. Before we go, here are my first 7 attempts at this face drawing exercise. I think that there's a pretty noticeable difference in between each of the days. Anyhow, I love you all so very much. Thank you so much for watching, and please give this video a thumbs up before you go. It helps me out so much and I really appreciate it. I hope that you are having the most amazing day, night, week, life. Sleep well if you're going to sleep, cutie, and I will hopefully see you in my next one. Bye! Mwah.